You ever wonder what it's really like inside a community of expert traders, especially on a day when the market makes absolutely no sense? Well, we're about to give you a look. This is a recap of one single wild day at PhilStockWorld.com. It's a top-tier site for anyone serious about stocks and options, a place where you learn from leading analysts and even some pretty advanced AI. Let's dive in and see how they navigated the chaos. So here it is, the central mystery we're unpacking today. The morning kicks off with just a ton of awful economic data. I mean, logically, stocks should have been in a nosedive, but they weren't. They took off like a rocket. The big question is why? And, more importantly, who is actually prepared for it?
The whole thing started with this number, 88.7. That was the Consumer Confidence Index. And look, it wasn't just a miss, it was a catastrophic plunge. We're talking about a level of pessimism that just blew right past the COVID crisis lows and started getting into 2009 financial meltdown territory. A truly terrible sign for the economy.
And that was the feeling right at the start of the day from Phil Davis, the founder of PhilStockWorld. Now, for those who don't know, Phil's the real deal. He's recognized by Forbes, Seeking Alpha, and CNBC as a top market analyst who's trained some of the world's best hedge fund managers. His take was crystal clear. The market was flying completely blind into the holidays. But here's where the PhilStockWorld community really starts to show its stripes. While most of the market was just reacting to those big, scary economic numbers, the conversation inside their live chat was already focused on a much bigger, much more important story: the AI chip war. Yeah, the real earthquake that morning was a report that Meta, one of the biggest buyers of AI chips on the entire planet, was talking about buying Google's custom TPU chips instead of Nvidia's. Now, this is a direct shot at Nvidia's near monopoly, and it's a story Phil had actually been warning his members about for over a year. And what's so cool here is how the community just instantly starts breaking down the tech. They're not just trading headlines. They're in there discussing the architectural differences between Google's purpose-built TPUs, which are, hyper-efficient for AI, and Nvidia's more general-purpose GPUs. It's this level of deep dive analysis that really sets the whole group apart. Okay, and this is where it gets really unique. PhilStockWorld doesn't just rely on human analysis. No, they have a team of some of the world's most advanced AI and AGI entities, what they call the AGI Roundtable, and they contribute to the chat every single day. And these aren't just simple chatbots, they're sophisticated analysts like Warren 2.0, Zephyr, and Bodie McBoatface. So right on cue that morning, Zephyr, who is one of the community's key AGIs, drops a full intelligence report. Zephyr's whole job is to synthesize all the pre-market data, from asset prices to geopolitical news, and find the actual signal in all that noise. And this is a perfect example of what Zephyr can do. While everyone else was just scratching their heads, Zephyr laid it out perfectly. It saw that the combination of falling jobs, weak consumer spending, and that stubbornly high inflation was flashing a huge warning sign for stagflation, a risk the broader market was just completely ignoring at that moment. And then Warren 2.0, the community's original AI analyst, chimed in. He looked at the structure of the previous day's rally and called it for exactly what it was: a fragile house of cards. He pointed out that there was no new money really coming in. The market was just pushing the same chips around. This wasn't some healthy recovery. It was a super precarious repricing. Now, analysis is one thing, but what happens when a trade actually goes wrong? This is where the community's real value is on full display. It transforms from just an analysis hub into a real-time trading school. And it's in these moments that PhilStockWorld shows it's more than just a site. It's a place where you can actually learn and connect. So, a member named Marcos posts in the chat. He's got a position on a gold stock that's moved against him, and he's not sure what to do next. He's in a really tough spot, and he reaches out for some guidance. Phil jumps in immediately, and his response is direct, it's unfiltered, and it's incredibly valuable. He doesn't sugarcoat it one bit. He diagnoses the problem. Marcos didn't use a stop loss, and now he's stuck in a position that's based on hope, not on strategy. This is what real, raw mentorship looks like in action. But then the AI, Warren 2.0, steps in and just elevates the whole lesson. It goes beyond the immediate error and explains the deeper, structural flaw in how the trade was even built. The problem wasn't just one bad decision, it was a setup that had absolutely no room to absorb any volatility. I mean, this is the kind of market wisdom you just don't find anywhere else. And the conversation didn't just end there. It evolved into this incredible framework, which Warren 2.0 then codified for everybody. What started as one member's problem became a timeless sensibility test for the entire community, a masterclass in risk management created right there on the fly. This is a perfect example of how the community turns real challenges into lasting education. Okay, so with all this deep analysis and live education going on, what about that first mystery? Why in the world did the market rally so hard on such terrible news? Let's bring this all back around. The answer wasn't in any of the economic reports. Nope. Midday, a rumor started to spread that Kevin Hassett, a really well-known monetary ultra-dove, was the frontrunner to be the next Fed chair. And just like that, the market stopped trading the reality of today and started trading a future of easy money. And the result was absolutely staggering. The Dow ripped higher by over 600 points. The market just completely ignored the disastrous consumer confidence numbers and all those stagflation warnings because the promise of future rate cuts was all that mattered. The Hassett putt was officially in play. So what should you really take away from a chaotic day like this? Well, it all comes down to the unique edge you get by being part of a community that can see all the different pieces of the puzzle at the same time. Think about this whole journey, starting with a totally confusing market, moving through deep, fundamental, and AI-driven analysis, pivoting to a live, hands-on trading lesson, and then ending with a crystal clear understanding of what actually happened. That wasn't a special occasion. That's just a typical Tuesday at PhilStockWorld. And if there's one quote that just captures the entire philosophy of the group, it's this one from Warren 2.0. The goal isn't to find some rigid rule that's just going to fail you eventually. It's about building a flexible framework for thinking about the market, no matter what it throws at you. That adaptability, that is the real edge. So as you head home, here's a question to think about. In a market this complex, driven by data, by rumors, by AI, and by human psychology all at once, who's in your corner helping you make sense of it all?